We're receiving this award on behalf of Sarkodie, who's around the corner, is going to be out very soon. But quickly, Success Music, recently you heard that Sarkodie was involved in a car accident. After we lost our sister Ebony, the involvement in the accident has awakened our senses about our safety, especially in the kind of job that we do. So we are pushing an agenda for a dual carriage intercity roads, double roads leading all our regional capitals. Thank you. We're actually starting by using the influence of our colleagues, definitely the artists that we do the music with. And then I'll plead with all of you that we involve ourselves in this agenda. It's for all of us, our safety, the entire nation. You know how it feels after Ebony and after Sarkodie. Good night.
So that is Sarkodie's manager there. His name is Angel. He announced at the just ended VGMAs, which is something we're going to be talking about in much detail, what they're looking to do with their road safety campaign. Like I indicated earlier, Sarkodie himself narrowly missed an accident. He was involved in an accident. We thank God that he's well. Ebony, who finally won the award, the Best Artist Award, Artist of the Year award, herself was involved in an accident, and unfortunately she died. Stoneboy has been speaking about how he has metals fixed in his leg because he was involved in an accident. Sarkodie and his team, they're looking at pushing for a dual carriageway. They say, well, what is the Road Safety Commission up to? We've been engaging them well, over and over again, you could say that. I have in the studio one of their representatives, Kwame Tuahine. He speaks for them, actually the Director of Public Affairs in the studio. Mr. Tuahine, it's been a while.
Yeah, Gifty, how are you?
I'm not bad at all. Do you have any good news to share with us, since we've spoken about this over and over again already?
Well, it's worrying that you'd have to get back to talk about the same issue over time. But from the persistence in dealing with the same issues over a long time, there's a likelihood that you may be able to get the impact that you deserve. I think what confronts us at this stage is an issue to do with indiscipline.
Indiscipline.
Yes.
And by this, I'm sure you mean drivers or road users. Indiscipline on the part of road users.
Road users in general. Today,
isn't it a very easy target? Are road users not a very easy target? Because this is not the first time I'm hearing you say this. And over the time, even different people, you know, from the Road Safety Commission have come. And when they come, they sort of say the same thing. That is an issue, yes. But don't you think that it's a card you're using too much, because road users are easy targets? Because first of all, you can't easily identify them and say, Gifty, you are responsible. It's a general and abstract term.
No, I mean, discipline cuts across beyond road users on the part of stakeholders. I mean, they cannot escape blame if you look at the issues that continue to emerge. If there are issues to do with the road, for instance, and it's an engineering concern, and the agency responsible to fix it fails to do that on account of one reason or the other, it's discipline of a certain measure. But the point I try to make is that today, if you went on the road to talk to 10 road users, I am certain in my mind that 9 out of 10 would be able to acknowledge the reasons why these situations occur and the kinds of things they could do to stay away from these problems. Unfortunately, beyond the knowledge that they have, education that they have been exposed to, for failings of the system, I mean, they fail to abide by the knowledge that we have, and in occasions these kinds of considerations and concerns that we continue to have. So it's important for us to do better than we are doing now, and I say that with some measure of frustration. For
frustration,
instance,
and you're not the only one who is frustrated. Actually, You who were supposed to solve the problem for us because we're paying you to do so, you are frustrated. And I'm wondering, hold on for me, Mr. Twain, I'll come back to you. I'm wondering how anyone else, I'm wondering how Ebony's parent will feel. I'm wondering how someone like Sarkodie, who has, like I said, who narrowly escaped an accident himself, will feel. We have him on the phone, by the way. Sarkodie, it's good to have you. Congratulations on your performance and everything, you know, at the VGMAs. We're talking something quite different from VGMAs, by the way. I have a representative of the Road Safety Commission in the studio with me. Tell us a bit about your campaign and how you'd like them to perhaps join with you.
Thank you so much for having me. I think there's always been a problem that we were supposed to, you know, pay much attention to it, but as they say, everything happens for a reason. So, in this recent time, the recent one, as you said, has been our sister Ebony. So, to me, that incident was kind of like a wake-up call for all of us. And I approached one of our pioneers in the music industry who has been back on this journey for a long time. That's Vice for Oboa, music president, to, you know, come on board and let us form a team that can push the agenda back again. Because doing our due diligence on the accidents on the roads, we came across, you know, some revelations that was quite frustrating. That is one aspect. You know, I was thinking of, you know, the roads that leads to the region, like the longer ones, the longer motorways that goes to from city to city, like from Accra to Kumasi, from Kumasi to Koforidua. Doing the checks, we came to realize that the head-on collision normally, you know, ends up with that fatal death, which is only because these long-distance roads are so single. You know, so anybody should make a mistake to go on other lanes and literally going to hit the one coming, and that's the situation that happened to, you know, myself and a legend Amachide not too long ago.
Right. And based on your experience, I'll have you give the Road Safety Commission representatives who's here in the studio with me maybe a bit of suggestions. If your team is looking to launch a road safety campaign, and actually you've launched a road safety campaign, you certainly have some, and having experienced it yourself, you certainly have some suggestions as to the way forward. Personally, sometimes I get tired because we talk about it over and over again and people continue to die. You have any suggestions about how we can work this out?
Yeah, I think we need somewhere. It's a whole team that we start together. So as I was saying, accidents will always happen. You know, whether you take, you know, like you're super careful, it's still happening anyways, but then we can minimize them and prevent the ones that we can, you know, even prevent. And to me, one major one is, you know, the longest road that leads to other cities. I think having a dual carriage always makes sense, because then nobody can come from the other lane into your lane, you know, to cause the head-on collision. So that to me was the suggestion that we had from the team, and we did our due diligence on how much it costs to make the dual carriage, and the money we came across was ridiculous. And I think looking at the system, it will be hard for any government to even take this on. So what we are pushing as the team is to urge Ghanaians to come on this, to support this and push this, and all musicians coming together. We actually met not so long ago. I had a brunch for all of us last Friday, and we had a conversation about it, which I'm releasing the documentary this evening on my YouTube, so you can check out the conversations that we had there. Okay. So now things are coming together to push, if possible, so we can pass, you know, a law, so maybe a levy or something can be taken off something to just go towards that project, to be able to at least, or let's have a double dual carriage road, so that we can have a little bit of safety, because doing the
Okay, but Sarkodie, you have a very big platform. People love your music. People follow you. A lot of people follow you. So I'm looking at an immediate term solution, because what you've just said sounds pretty much like a long-term solution. But the immediate term solution, would you like to partner the Road Safety Commission? Is there anything that the two of you can do together? I have the representative here in the studio. You know, we can talk about it.
I'm open. What I'm saying is for the bigger picture, but then again, obviously, we have the immediate things to do, which I actually have few people in there at the Road Safety Commission. I don't know who you have in the studio.
I do have Kwame Etiahene here.
I don't know if he knew about the Friday, because we had two came in at the Kempinski, and then so definitely we are involving you guys. I think it's necessary that you guys give us the information that you want us to put out for the public to to know, and we are ready to embark on anything that can secure our safety.
Okay. Well, hang on for me. Let me take a quick reaction from him. Mr. Tiahene, you've heard him. I mean, here's a guy who's, he's had an experience, so it makes him better placed, to sell the message. If we're talking about selling the message, he's got a message. We look at the industry he represents. We've had a serious example there as well. He's looking to support.
Yes, I think we've had some initial conversation and contact with them. Sarkodie, the host of other artists within the industry. It's good that they're showing commitment. Indeed, it's a behavioral concern.
So sorry to jump in here again. I want us to focus on, do we have a clear plan as to what we want to achieve with people like Sarkodie and people in the music industry?
Yes, there are major influencers who have huge following, could influence the way their followers behave on the road. I believe that with a song, which he does and does very well, appeals to quite a number of constituency who are taken to a number of misbehavior that could endanger our lives. He stands in a very good position to be able to reach out to them.
Okay.
And that, I imagine, in the short term, there'll be opportunities to engage on that. But in the long term, there's a plan of theirs to look at dualization of certain major corridor roads. It's not a bad idea. Indeed, I mean, once you are able to expand the road network, it reduces and limits the risk of exposure to crashes, and we are in a position to offer as much technical support as possible from the conversations that we have had in the interim. But beyond the medium to long term, as he indicated, and as I believe is the case, there are a number of things we could do in the short term. Mind you, it's not the first time we're trying to collaborate with artists. In the past, we had done something with Obuo, but that's quite a long time ago. Sarkodie is such a major face and voice in contemporary times, and he commands quite a large following.
Certainly.
And there's every reason that a voice he adds to the safety campaign would influence
could help us achieve some more. Well, Sarkodie, I'm going to let you go, but I take very final words from you. And I have a few suggestions, by the way. Well, whilst you are at it and whilst you're using your platform and your brand to push this very important national assignment, I'll suggest that we also look at street lights. Most of the time there have been accidents because people are not familiar with roads and they're driving on top speed, and because there are no lights on the road. So there's an issue of street lights, bumpy roads, and potholes, which we can add to the campaign. There's an issue of enforcement of existing laws, etc. As for the laws there, someone will say we have them plenty, but to what extent are we enforcing them? Sarkodie, let me give you final words and then I'll wrap up with the National Road Safety Commission here in the studio.
Here again from all the suggestions you gave us very nicely. We need a point to then just focus in place. We just need to start the whole movement. Hopefully we have
I need you to reposition and say that all over again because I didn't hear a word.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes, sounds better.
I wanted to say thank you again for having me, and all that you suggested to me all makes sense and have to be involved in the campaign, and we are ready to embark, God willing, to the fullest. So me and my team are ready to embark on, and to the whole of Ghana, let's take this seriously. I have to do it on life, and it shows that we can really more than HIV does. So we need to take it that serious, and it was a wake-up call for me when I experienced it.
Yeah. And speaking of which, sorry, I almost forgot. I wanted to tell us, maybe people who are watching can hear you and take a word or two. How did it feel for you? You obviously didn't see it coming, but can you briefly tell us about that particular experience?
I really don't like going into it because of the energy. But I'm releasing the documentary tonight, so so you can check it. I will be on YouTube and you guys can carry it over.
Very well. Very well. We'll deal with that. Sarkodie, thank you very much for your time this afternoon. Sarkodie, the brand name Success. He and his team, his manager Angel, they're looking to embark on a road safety campaign. They're looking basically to get a dual carriageway on, I think, the Kumasi,
the major corridors.
The major corridors, the Kumasi, right. And like I said, that sounded pretty much like the long term, even though, yes, of course, it's a good one. Let me take your final words as to where do we go from here. Once again, we always have to come to this sort of conclusion.
Yes,
issues with street light, bumpy roads, there's so many potholes, and people are always looking to, skip or skid away from the potholes. It leads to accident. Enforcement of road regulations.
I think we must find a way to sustain this conversation. Oftentimes, when the newspapers scream those headlines, we come back to the conversation and go to sleep when there are none to talk about. But it's a daily occurrence. On a daily basis, 6 people get killed on our roads. An average 150 persons a month. So we cannot pretend that they don't occur until they make time on the major headlines. I think that that's an opportunity that we must all put our minds to it, which is within the environment of the recent incident, transport operations. We need to be able to exert a certain measure of control beyond the sensitization and the campaigns that may come from the Commission and other like institutions. Right. That is a gap, and it's known to pretty much all of us. We must be able to move the critical steps in finding a way to deal with that gap, so that as much as the air transport industry is regulated, which does not allow just anybody to fly an aircraft or just allow any aircraft to be on the tarmac to pick passengers, we must be able to get to the stage where we don't just allow any bus or just any driver.
A quick follow-up though, sorry. The speed cameras. What happened to the speed cameras? We spoke a lot about it. It's been a while.
Yes, I can say to you that as we speak, some speed cameras have been installed in Ghana, in Accra, on some section of our roads.
Where?
I'm unable to tell at this point, but there's some technical work that's being done. The expectation is that by the middle of the year, we'll fully...
The middle of this year?
Yes, working
which is June, July?
Yes, working with the police. We should be in a position to... In fact, the police is leading the charge on that because it's an enforcement activity, and the expectation is that they will be able to lead the process for us to start a speed campaign. Okay.
Well, Mr. Hotan, thank you very much. I can imagine your frustration, but a lot more people are much more frustrated. I must say, Kwame Etiahene is a spokesperson, actually the head of a public affairs directorate with the National Road Safety Commission. They're helping us with that conversation. On the phone with us was Sarkodie, brand name Success, whose team is embarking on a road safety campaign. Also watching the Pulse with me, Gifty and Opia. Let me give you this very quick message and we go on with our stories. Star Ghana and Danida present a 2-day learning event which brings together the small grant and strategic partners to share lessons around project implementation. They're going to be reflecting on the implementation of their projects to date. That event will also create collaborations and enhance synergies with civil society as well as state actors on advancing gender equality and social inclusion programs. The learning event will be chaired by Dr. Esther Ofeya-Boaje, who is the chairperson of the Star Ghana Steering Committee on Star Ghana's GESI. Date is 26th to 27th of April 2018, and the time is 9 a.m. The venue is Golden Tulip Kumasi, the Golden Tulip Hotel, Kumasi City, and the theme: social inclusion for sustainable development. As we go along, I'll go over it again so you can, keep it on your diary if you want. But away